meetings, 4 board meetings. That's the 650 amendment?
So the amendment is for the height change. It is for the deletion of 8 machines and dropping it down to the 26, as well as updating the turbine technology in there. So the less impact, that is the change as part of the amendment.
Okay, and then the second thing I have is, I don't know if one of the windmills you're talking about that where the noise complaint is, but I do notice a difference between the 650 and the 500 on, what's that, Wagner Road?
Okay.
I know I can hear the 650. I cannot hear the 500, and that's about 2 miles from my house as a crow flies. And I can just imagine how that's going to sound when they're right out my front door. So whatever we can do to...
Do you notice the time of day? I mean, I would encourage you to call the complaint line so we can take a look at that. But do you notice the time of day or what the atmospheric conditions are
Anytime
like?
that 650's running,
You can hear it?
I can hear it.
Okay.
At your house?
At my house.
You're a long ways away.
I'm 2 miles away.
Okay.
The 500, because one will run by itself and the other one will run by itself. I can't hear the 500. The 650, oh yeah, sounds like a jet.
I think you're probably hearing somewhat of this serrated edges.
Okay, well, that's all I have.
It's a different sound.
But I know about 5 meetings ago, people wanted to know the difference between 500s and 650s, and there's a difference, big difference. And I'm 2 miles away. It hasn't even come to my house yet.
Now, Jason, I know you say that there's a reduction in turbines and the impact, but in the amendment, the judge actually highlighted that it's actually an increased impact to the area.
If you look at previous findings from other cases, that is not what was found in other cases. So that's why we have a judge taking a look at that this time.
But she actually highlighted a lot of different things that would be an increased impact because the blades are actually 100 feet wider. People don't realize that.
So, yeah, I mean, that's certainly one of the things they're looking at. I mean, we're talking about cumulative impacts as well. She might be focusing when she commented on that specifically turbine to turbine.
Jason, and I don't mean any disrespect, but a lot of people, that's what they have the problem with, because not you specifically, but you know, the people that were here before you came and they promised this and they promised that, and finally come to an agreement with the town for 500s, and the attorney signed off, and you know, the head of your company and everything, and we heard, I don't know how many times we heard representatives in here saying, just trust us, you know, and then basically you didn't get your way on the 650, so you go running right to the state to go over our local law. It's just not right, so it really, optically, it doesn't look good for you guys, and it's just hard for people to trust you.
Yeah. I mean, Tom, I can appreciate that. I mean, one of the challenges that I deal with on my side too is, you know, we're talking about technology that continues to advance, and that's why that's one of the reasons we're doing this amendment, is the technology that we talked about then is almost obsolete at this point. And I have to talk about a machine that's going to be here for the next, you know, 25 to 30 years. I want to make sure we put in the good one, the best one.
If that were the case, you wouldn't have over 50 complaints from one individual, so, you know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, that's again, that's a perception thing at this point.
Yeah.
We need to work through that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Could you tell what the status of the ADL lighting is?
ADLS.
ADL.
Yeah. Okay. For phase 1 or phase 2?
Well,
Okay. So phase 1, there will be an ADLS for phase 1. It won't be constructed until June or July of this year. There is an FCC permit that was required for that, and that has been in the FCC's backlog. So we did some filings here within the last 60 days. There's a comment period right now that I think there's about 30 days left on that. Once we receive that permit, the tower will start to be erected as soon as the weather's fit, and then those turbines will be lit with the ADLS. All of them, with the exception of 1 or 2 turbines, and based on the elevation. Phase 2, we've already started that process for that one, so I think it'll go up at the same time as the actual turbines. All of Phase 2 will be controlled by one ADLS tower
So one tower
One
per
tower.
phase.
per phase, correct?
Just so everyone knows, the ADLS is aviation monitoring, so the lights won't be blinking all the time. If a plane comes near, then they will blink.
Yes.
So it'll be a little bit less annoyance down the road.
Yep.
Okay.
I wondered about why they were on sometimes and not on.
Yep.
Anyone else have, go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, this is just a scheduling question. The temporary tower,
Yes.
do we know when that's planned?
At the earliest, it would be June or July. So I think that's in our court right now. I think Cindy has the applications, but we have not moved those forward. I think there's I think there's a $24,000 check that goes along with those. So we just assumed that we would push that forward as we get ready to start to erect those. Certainly giving the time that you need to move those forward.
Okay.
Is that for an additional Met tower?
3.
3 of them?
Yeah, 3 temporary towers that would be up until we start construction.
Okay. Because that was my question earlier. The planning board had passed that, and you had 2 people on there with conflicts, so it couldn't have passed. So,
And Greg, did you have minutes
We
with
did
that?
not pass that, we simply passed it forward to the,
well, I got it right here, Doug. It says, Barron Wind's temporary tower permit request. Doug Odell reviewed map and proposed Barron Wind's tower installations. Results. Planning board finds no violation with land use regulations. Action passed to code enforcement for review of construction permit. So, I mean, my point is that you've got 2 people with conflict, so you couldn't even have done that, so.
Then I sent them an email and asked them to stop, don't go any further until we hear from the wind company, so nothing else.
Okay, very good. I'm just following up, that's all, yes. Thank you.
Yeah, so
Any other
like I say, it's in our court to get back. Yep.
Any other questions for Jason?
I do. Unbeknown to me, I've been in the fire service since '70. How come the fire service wasn't called in on some of these negotiations for our responsibility? We're a volunteer fire service over here, and we don't even know where this whole shebang is happening.
Okay.
How come between the town and you, we didn't get called in on this?
I guess I can't specifically say because I don't know. I know that when we started construction on the other project up there, that we met with all of the providers for all that whole area up there, and were consulted with them on almost a daily basis up there during construction. And prior to construction, we had a meeting with all of our construction staff. So as far as the planning, we just haven't got there to that, but we will before we start construction without question. It's a requirement of one of our conditions.
Yeah. Just curious.
Sure.
Hey,
Yeah,
Bruce, I don't know if
we're a time away yet from that.
I'm going from recollection now. I thought at one of those meetings, they said they were supposed to help you guys out with like some type of high rescue training or something like that,
Yeah,
along
we do
with
that.
financial
Yeah.
benefits too.
Never brought up in my knowledge.
Yeah.
Tom.
Yeah, it will. We're just not to that point yet. Yeah. Just think about that. You don't want to do that too far in advance because in a volunteer situation, those change a lot.
Yeah,
So we want to make sure that we have the people that are going to be there as we get close to construction.
right, yeah.
Towers, are they still valid?
Is the paperwork sent by Stephanie Oddie still valid for the temporary towers?
Yes.
Or are you gonna resubmit something?
Yes. No, they are still valid. Still, it's the same tower.
You got a question?
Hey,
Yes.
Jason, I was just wondering if you could do anything about the noise that I get from the Alstom jet that takes off regularly from the our Portland Municipal Airport, as well as the Norfolk Southern train whistle, as well as the trucks laying on their Jake brakes and running over the rumble strips on 21.
I wish I can.
I didn't think you could do anything.
I wish I could. Thank you. Thank you.
That's fine.
So Emily, were you referring to earlier the changes where it was talking about affecting 28 creeks and like 8 or 9 of them that were restricted, and then it's gonna affect local news and all that. That came right from the judge, so that, I did read that, and I was concerned about that myself.
I don't think those changes, I think what she's highlighting in there, we'll certainly take a look at, but I don't think those are greater than what the initial phase would be. Do we temporarily impact some additional streams? I'm sure we probably do, but they're temporary. There's certainly, when you look at the cumulative effect of the whole construction project, it is less.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Jason?
Okay.
All right, well, thank you, Jason.
Thanks. Sure.
We have one more resolution to do. We need to pay the bills on abstract 3.
What's that? If you have any questions, reach out to me.
I'll make a resolution to pay the bills on abstract 3.
Roll call?
I second. Hilton,
Aye.
Burns, Smith,
Aye.
Murray.
Aye.
4 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstain. Dollar amount is $148,501.30.
All right, at this time, we will open up for comment for the reassessment. Janet, would you like to go first? You want to come up to the podium?
I'd rather just sit if I
Okay.
could. I just want to start out with who is on the Board of Assessment Review, who's the members of that.
Michelle Chamberlain,
Larry Ebert and Donald Thompson.
And they all live in the town of Fremont, I'm assuming.
Mhm.
Yes.
What prompted the reval?
Holly came in, said it's been since 2016, and we were getting down to 80%. And it was
84?
actually skewing the school taxes. And she said the state would come in and basically set the cost on everything if we didn't do it.
So a revaluation was due to the fact that it was getting similar to the school taxes?
No, because we were getting down, what's the word for the 80%?
equalization.
The 80% equalization rate. She likes to keep it at 100%, and we were just getting down to the 80%.
So therefore most everything I've looked at was 84%. So she is putting everybody up to the 100% with
Yes.
with this reval?
And she said that everyone would be taxed fairly. At that point, they were not.
Okay, how does one go about comparing properties with the new tentative assessment?
I'm not sure.
You
Did
should
call Holly?
go to the Office of Real Property and Tax Service website, go to Google, search for Sales Web New York. You'll be able to bring up every sale in New York State, whatever.
I'm not
time you
interested
want.
in sales, I'm interested in what the tentative assessments are gonna be for all the properties in the town of Fremont.
She has not given us that yet.
So your assessment is based on sales, not the tentative assessments for other properties.
Okay.
So sales, so if you go to contest your assessment, Holly's gonna be looking at sales.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically they're looking at comparables, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So when you say comparables, you're looking at ranch to ranch house or contemporary to contemporary, or are you looking at acreage, you looking at square footage, you looking at one
Yeah,
bed, two
all
bed?
of those, that's
All of it.
Holly's responsibility to make sure she's doing that in a responsible way.
Okay, and if there's an assessment of much more than you can sell it for, is that fair, is that accurate? I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
My name's Ryan Andrews, I live on 21, I'm in town, I've got questions about the reval myself.
Well, okay, so I'm just saying, if a property is assessed for much more than you can sell it for, where does that come as fair and accurate?
Did you call Holly and discuss things with her?
I have an appointment with her on March 16th.
Okay. She is the one that reviews everything and sets these values.
So I would encourage you to check out that website I mentioned, Sales Web New York, do a Google search for it. You can put in all the parameters of your search. You can, by school district, by municipality, you can put in a date range, price range, and that'll bring up all the sales.
So basically, we're just going up 16% from the 84% to 100%? Is that correct?
For the,
Assessment.
no, not, each house isn't going up. Each house is going up based on sales, is how she
She
explains it
jacked
to
me
us.
41%, so what does that tell you?
Yeah, it's not
You got all
16%
these.
across the board.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yes. So she said a third would stay the same, a third would go up, and a third would go down for what you pay for taxes. So she goes out and looks at the recent sales and sets your property based on recent sales. I know the
Recent sales in the town of Fremont, or do they,
I think it's
Steuben
across the
County.
county, yeah.
so
And I
it
know
doesn't matter that it's in Woodhull?
surrounding towns, yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's in Woodhull or Irwin or, okay.
It's my understanding. I'm not an assessment guru, it's just what she's told us, and I've done some research on it myself.
Yeah, it used to be, I don't know if it still is, when you go in to talk to her, you could ask her for 3 comparables that she.
Right.
Yeah.
And I intend to, but I want to make sure that, you know, if we're talking just strictly in the town of Fremont, or if we're talking Steuben County.
I think it's Steuben County.
So if I've compared my property to town of Dansville, town of Woodhull, and town of Irwin,
I'm not sure.
No, I don't think so. I think it's gonna be, I think it will probably be more like Seth's saying, your surrounding towns. She's gonna try to get it as close to Fremont as possible.
But that's
She
not.
might hit
that's not-
Dansville. I think one time I had a comparable of Dansville.
okay.
But she's gotta get something that's close, cause there's not, there's not a lot
Of
of
sales.
similar, in our town. So
Okay,
she'll go
well,
out a little
I
ways.
was in the town of Dansville.
Mm-hmm.
On Pope's Hole, I had a 3-bedroom, 2 kitchen, 2 bath, a 2-car attached, a detached 3-car on 1.5 acres that I sold for $130,000. I now have 0.7 acres with a 25 by 42 house with an addition that requires a lot of work still, and I put a 30 by 40 garage on it back in November of 2022, and I'm now assessed for $152,500. I will take my Pope's Hole property back any day for that $32,500.
I would definitely.
And
go to
that was
her-
just sold October 26th of 22.
I would definitely go to her and ask for comparables and ask where she gets the values of everything.
I mean, because I've looked at other properties in the town of Dansville, and I'm not familiar with Miss Smalt's property. However, she had like 14 acres, a house that was totally built in 2010, 3-bedroom, 2 bath, a 50 by 30 garage that's only assessed for $184,000. That's 100%. And you're talking my .70 acres that is shitty acres with a house built in 1935 that all the floors are not level, and I've put new roofs, new window, that kind of stuff in it, is worth $152,500. There's no comparison. I have a 1-bedroom, 1-bath home that I'm told by 2 real estate agents is unmarketable. If I can sell it for $152,500, somebody write me the check tonight. I'll be out of there in a week. And I'm dead serious. I have a 1-bedroom, 1-bath home that I cannot walk under in the basement without ducking my head, because I have pipes, ductwork, plumbing, beams. As I had to put a cellar floor under it and cellar walls. This house was a goddamn shack. And I'm $31,500 under a 2010 built home that's probably immaculate. If I'd have got there today, I would have, but my car didn't go up the road. I should have drove my truck. You cannot compare those kind of properties. If you can find me a one-bedroom, one-bath home